Hello, everyone. Uh, this is Abir Rizvi in your channel, Let's Collaborate, here to talk about Microsoft Teams today. So, in today's session, we are going to discuss what is Teams, what is a team site, when do you set up a team site, and how do you go about doing a basic setup of a team site. So SharePoint is a platform that's used by organizations for collaborative purposes, to collaborate amongst teams, amongst departments, business units, to bring people together in order to effectively work in a workplace or for any given project or to manage a particular department. There are different types of team sites that can be built depending on the intent. A SharePoint site is either collaborative in nature or it may be for information sharing purposes, for collaboration purposes, just to, provide information to the audience that are coming and visiting your site. Those are typically your communication sites where you're publishing news and articles, and you're creating a site that's disseminating information across your organization or for your department or for even any given project. So in today's session, we're going to focus on the one half, and I'll make a separate video right after that talking about the communication aspect and the communication template of SharePoint as well. So today we're going to talk about how do teams collaborate using SharePoint team sites. How do you go about setting it up as an administrator? How do you do it, and how do you do it as a power user or user within your organization? So in the background, you're seeing I have Microsoft 365 logged in. I am on office.com. I'll take you down to the admin section first. So let's click on admin. It's going to open up a new tab, and I will browse to the SharePoint Admin Center. So once this page loads, this is the Admin Center, M365 Admin Center. If I click on Show All, you'll be able to see the Admin Centers listed in the left navigation. And I'll go to SharePoint and click on it. Once I click on the Admin Center, it's going to launch the SharePoint Admin Center. This, in order for you to have access to this, you either need to be a global admin or at least a SharePoint administrator to be able to get to this. The home page loads with certain cards and certain metrics that gets presented to the administrator up top, what's posted in the message center, what's the site usage looking like, the SharePoint file activity, and all of that good stuff. But in the left navigation under sites, you're seeing active sites. So let's go ahead and click on active sites. Once you click on active sites, you're going to get a list of all of the sites, and which you can export it out. You can click on create to create a new site. On the top right hand corner, this is a dev environment, so it shows me what is this particular environment has available in terms of space. So it shows you how much have you consumed, what's left over. Amongst the name of the sites, the columns are here for the site URL. If it's a Teams connected site, then you can see that this site is connected to Teams, so you see this particular icon over there. Channel sites, this is for storage, how much each site is taking up the storage, so you can quickly identify which sites are more heavily in use. Who's the primary admin for these sites? If it is a hub site or not, hub site we'll talk about in a separate video. And once I'm done, I'll end up linking that video up here as well. Then here are the templates, the communication site and the team site. And today we're focusing on the team site template to talk about what does it take for a group of individuals to collaborate using Teams. Last activity, date created by Microsoft 365 group. Was it yes or no? So is it a group connected site or not? So typically team sites, by default, if you click, if you're setting up and picking a template, and if you pick team site, it's going to be a Microsoft 365 group connected site at that point. Any communication site template is not going to be a Microsoft 365 group connected site. Files and pages and views on those particular pages, and how many are there, page visits, files, sensitivity, if there's any sensitivity label that the site is associated with. That's for more or so for compliance purposes. If you have marked something or sensitive because of the content that's being stored on that site, you can do that in your security and compliance center. External sharing, whether it's turned on, turned off, you can, of course, always enable or disable that. And you can customize columns too. So scrolling back to the left, I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and create a site as an admin. We can also do the same if we are, on from the front or the home or landing page, we can do this action as well. So under create site, you see two options, team site and communication site. There's also some additional options, which are called the other options. So you can create a new team site without a Microsoft 365 group or a document center, or enterprise wiki template, publishing portal, or project web app site. Those are some one-off templates that are also available that you can leverage. But this is in the video that we are going to be discussing that. So let's click on team site. This is going to give us a name that we can keep, and so I'm gonna call it Let's Collaborate. And this group email address, it gets created, it's available. Site address is going to have this URL. Group owner, I'm going to pick myself, and in language, I'll leave it at English. Under advanced settings, if I open it up, this could either be a private site or a public site, so anyone in the organization will be able to find or request to be added to the site, or not. So that's where this is going to be, when you're creating the site, you have to decide that which route do you want to take. So if it's a site, for example, that's more or so secured in nature, maybe this is the M&A team is working on an acquisition, and they want to make sure that the stuff that they're talking about, the site all by itself, should remain private. No one should be able to look it up, even the name of the site we're talking about. When I say look it up, it doesn't mean that they can immediately see all the content of the site. So I'll just keep this site as private. I'm going to leave the time zone as it is. If I need to add a description, I can do that. Let's hit next. I can add a few members here, so I'll add Adele and I'll add Megan, and I can make the members that I'm adding in addition to myself as an owner, or leave them as a member on this site, and I'm gonna hit finish. So the site is going to get created immediately, and there you go. Let's collaborate. So let's click on this URL and let's launch the site. Once this site comes up, what I want to do next is I want to I don't want to browse the templates, so although I can do that, which is to give it a certain look or feel of the site. So this, you can go to apply a site template. You can open up the site templates and view which templates are available that makes the most sense. So if any of these templates you find interesting, you can pick and choose and pretty much obtain more detail about that site, and select use this template. For this example, I'm not interested in using any of the out-of-the-box templates. I will be just quickly customizing a list and a library and then modify the home page. So on the home page, right off the bat, you can see news, you can see activity, quick links, documents. There is a document library that comes, pre-created as part of the basic template. Also, towards the bottom, you can see the add real-time chat is popping up where it says add Microsoft Teams. So if I click on that button, add Microsoft Teams, it's going to really create a Microsoft Teams, which will be connected to this site immediately, which we can do that towards the end of this video. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and start creating and modifying uh, creating a list for this site. So I'm going to click on new and I'm going to select list. In list, I also have a set of templates that I can choose from: issue tracker, employee onboarding, event itinerary, asset manager, gift ideas, playlist, content scheduler, expense tracker, recipe tracker. A lot of these are available. I can keep it blank. I can choose from an existing list. So if I click on it, if there are any existing list templates that are available, it's going to load and make it visible. This is exceptionally cool because what if you have done some great work in setting up a list, and making it uh, exactly how you like a list to be, and you want to reuse that template, you can simply find that particular site and then select that particular issue tracker that you have modified based on the requirements of your organization or project or department, whatever it may be. Um, in this case, I'm just going to go and pick the default issue tracker list. I'm going to select this template. Actually, before I talk about that, I also want to emphasize on that you can also export from Excel or from CSV file as well. If you are tracking something in an Excel spreadsheet and you have a ton of data and you're wondering that how do I pull this information in a system, then list can be a pretty useful and quick way to get everything in a system with all of those columns that you have in your tracking Excel spreadsheet that you're working on. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on issue tracker, and then we will see what the issue tracker looks like, which columns it's gonna give us. It's giving us issue, the issue description, priority, status, assigned to, date reported, issue source, images, associated files, issue logged by. So I think this is more or less what I want. I think I wanna use this template and modify this a little bit. So I'm going to select use template now. I am going to call project issue tracker. And I would like this issue tracker to be shown in the site left navigation right away. If you're working on building a list that you are not sure that it's ready for prime time and people should be able to see it, then you can do that later as well, and you can uncheck this. But I'll leave it checked. I'm going to hit create, and you'll immediately see that the project issue tracker is added in the left navigation, and and boom, we have a quick issue tracker list created. So let's go ahead and click on new to fill in, and let's go ahead and add a new item here. So we are going to testing application in in Chrome browser. Failed. So error code XYZ received, see screenshot attached. One entry, now I'm creating the next one's mobile app, not triggered. The workflow, no workflow, email sent after saving an entry. This is something I'm just making up as we go. I'll set the priority to be high, status is new. Let's assign this to Megan, date reported, I'm gonna say is the 21st, and I'm going to have issue logged by a beer. There you go, and save. I entered in a couple of a couple of entries here, and I'm good with everything. I don't think I need to see these columns: issue source, images, associated files, and also the status column values is something that I want to fix a little bit. So how do I go about doing that? So let's tackle the views first. So if I want to add a column, let's say I want to add another field called, choice, and I am going to select, I'm going to put a category in there. So category, I'm going to keep it at choice. Choice number one is group, mobile team, and I want to have, escalation. So for example, I entered in this additional column. If I go back in this particular item issue that I'd created, if I do edit here, I will be able to see this column that the field that I just created called category, and I'll be able to select that, testing application, that was more of a project testing, and I'll save that. And I can even put in a comment that added an additional column data. And that's it. In the mobile app, if I open it up and if I do edit all, I'll be able to go down and select this is category mobile team, added category value, so that it keeps a trail of who's working on these items and what sort of updates we've been making. So if I X out of it, now I can see these updates in here. Oh, project testing. I don't know why this didn't save. Let's enter it in once again. I'll do edit all. I'm gonna do mobile team, save X, and there you go, mobile team and project testing. All right, so real quick, I don't like these columns in the middle. Uh, issue logged by and category, I really want to move them more to the left. In fact, category, if I grab it and start moving it, I can put it more to the left. So let me just grab it again. I think I like it someplace here. What category is it? Next to priority and status. Same goes for issue logged by. I want to put it here, and issue source and images and associated files, I really don't want to see these views. It's fine if it stays in the all items view. So let's go ahead and create another view where we can eliminate these columns only for a view. A view is a subset of all the columns that you'll be able to see. So right now, all items means you're seeing all the columns. I mean, not necessarily all the columns, because even if I go right now and if I, for example, if I click on add column, um, it still shows you show or hide column. So if I do show or hide column, it's going to give me a list of all the columns that are part of the all items view. So if I wanted to add ID or if I wanted to add, hey, I want to keep track of who modified it last or who created it, so I can enable created by, um, modified by, and let's just say that those are the column I want to enable. If I hit apply, as you can see, so these are additional columns that I have enabled. But let's create another view where these particular columns we kind of eliminate. So if I go here, if I click on all items, all the way towards the bottom, not all the way to the bottom, is create new view. So if I click on create new view, I can call this summary view, for example, or just call it summary. I can make a list as a new view as a list, as a calendar, as gallery, or as board. Um, so I'll just keep it as list. Calendar is what it sounds like. So you'd be able to see what are the dates or the due dates for each one of those items that you're tracking in this list. So let's click on the list view and hit create. So I created this summary view. This is just a copy of the all items view. As you can see, the columns are exactly the same, but here it says summary. Next step is I want to modify, um, I want to edit the current view. If I click on edit the current view, I I get to this edit view page, which is going to show me a list of all the columns and their sequencing as well. So I want to first of all uncheck image and associated file and issue source. I'm not interested in seeing it. I am interested in seeing the rest of these columns, but I want ID to be the first column up there. So I'll go in front of the numbering, the position from left, and select one. And then everything else gets auto numbered according to your selection. So I'm pretty happy with this. Now I can always add a sort in here where I can say, hey, sort everything by ID. If I select ID and I select show items in descending order, this is always going to put the newest item up top. So the first item will go to the bottom, the second will be towards the top. When the third comes in, it'd be the top, fourth comes in, it'll be the top. So it pushes everything else down. So I think I wanna see everything based on this sort order. I can always put in a filter. I don't want to do it right now, but if I put in based on status, I can do it. So I can say, hey, show me where status is equals to, um, let's say, open, you know. So if that status value is true, then you'll be able to see a subset of everything. But I'm gonna keep it as show all items. I can do tabular view. I can get a total. So I can say, hey, count all the IDs and tell me what is the total of all the items in this view. So if a list has like 567 items, let's say, then this total is going to be a quick way of seeing that what is the count. So I'll just put count on ID for now. Um, Style, I'll leave it as default. You can also keep it at shaded and boxed and so forth. Folders, you can if this was a documents library and you had 1,000 documents sitting in 25 different folders, you can do show all items without folders, and it'll just give you a file view minus the folder. So it's pretty powerful. So I'll leave it the way it is. Item limit, so number of items to display. By default, it keeps it at 30, but you have the option of increasing and seeing, let's say, 50 items. Depending on how big your list is, I wouldn't increase this more than 50 because you don't want to see a page load time and issues related to that. So for this example, I'm not touching that. And let's go ahead and click OK. So all the changes that we made, take a look at this. We are getting a count. 2 is above, so it's sorted by ID. And I always can change the sorting from right here. I got rid of all the other columns right here that were blank. And I think I'm pretty happy with how this is looking, except I want created and created by together and modified by together. So I'll just drag this over here, and there you go. So this is just created a reordering of this view. So that's how you can quickly edit the view. If I go to summary, I still see all items. So if I go to all items, it's going to show me how the all items view was initially, and it doesn't give you any total or anything like that. But if you jump to summary, then you have that total coming up. The other area that you can also try to focus in on is 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 updating the fields of this particular list. So if you go to the gear icon at the top and go to list settings, you will be able to see the columns such as status and priority and visit the default out of the box template criteria that were listed, like critical, high, normal, low. So I'm okay with these values for now, but if I needed to update something, I would from here. Also, in the column formatting, you can change the display by adding this JSON or modifying this JSON based on your particular need. And if there are certain bordering or box sizing or display that you wanted to add or color combination, then you can tweak the JSON here to make that visible in that column. So I'm okay with this change the way it is, so I'm going to cancel out of it. I know I wanted to make some changes in the status. So if I go to status column, I'm seeing blocked, in progress, completed, duplicate, by design, won't fix, new. So I think I wanted to get maybe instead of won't fix or by design, I will just say canceled. Um, yeah, so I'll keep it as canceled. New is the default, which is good. I like it like that. Blocked, I can also get rid of, but that's fine if it's something that there is any other limitation that's that's here, then that makes sense. Require this column to contain. I don't think I need to do it because I have a default value. There's always going to be a value there. So if I didn't had a default here, then I would make it required that if someone is filling it out, they would fill it out. Same goes for column formatting. You can update the JSON accordingly. I'm going to click OK, and the values that I just changed will be updated. A quick way to jump back to the list is either clicking on the project issue tracker in the left navigation or the project issue tracker at the top. Um, and that will take you right back to the default view, which is all items. Our summary view that we created is not the default. Now, I can make the summary view the default view by selecting the summary view and clicking on this drop-down list again, and then selecting set current view as default. If I selected it, then this will become the default view for this particular list, such that if I go to home and if I click on project issue tracker once again, it is going to show the summary view, not the all items view. So hope this makes sense. I can also set it to gallery under summary if I wanted to see a card view or a compact list, which is more, sort of tightly put together. That's the compact list view, and the list view is slightly more spread out, a little bit more spread out, I want to say. There are also some other views that are part of this list, the issue grouped by person assigned to, or grouped by priority or grouped by status. And those are all good views that people within your organization can see and keep track of what items are assigned to me and what's the status of those, and how do we, how do we quickly change this. Also, edit in grid view, as we talked about. If you click on edit in grid view, it sort of opens everything up in an Excel-like format, and you can easily come and change the status for everything that's being worked on, for example. And let's say I'm gonna call this completed. Uh, and yeah, once this is done, just do exit grid view, and you know that's the status is updated. I can always share this out. I can also export this information out to CSV or Excel file, and I can tie in a Power Automate reminder or some additional rules that I can create and manage as well from here. This ellipsis gives me that you are able to integrate this with Power BI, Power Automate, Power Apps. I can set an alert, which is a cool feature just out of the box SharePoint, that you can have this alert. You can even add additional people in the organization and as part of in when you're setting up this alert, and it will track everything that how you want to do it. Like when new items are added, it's going to trigger this workflow. Send me an alert when anything changes. No, I don't want that many alerts. When someone else changes an item, okay, yeah, I want an alert in that case. And do you want an immediate notification or daily summary, weekly summary? I think I'd like a daily summary at let's just say 8 a.m. So when I'm checking my emails for the day, I'll be able to see what people did or updated the list, so I can have a more targeted discussion or questions around those items. So that's how you can set up an alert. This is how you can set up a list, and it's pretty quick, pretty simple. If I wanted to add additional columns, again, this is where you can add it from. If I wanted to show or hide columns, if I wanted to create a new view, I can do that, create new view. And all in all, that's in a nutshell what a list is and how you can manage list within your organization. Now, going back to home, next I want to add a library, a document library. If I wanted to get a secured documents library set up, I'm going to call it secured library, and I'm going to allow this checkbox to show in site navigation. I'm going to hit create. It's going to create a library. I can upload documents. I can drag and drop documents. I can sync this library on my computer, on my personal computer, so I can have access to all of the files on the go and so forth. I can also create documents from right here, but for uploading purposes, if I select files, I can select on a couple of these images and just for document purposes, it's here. I can also create a Word document called the project planning and implementation strategy. So as I'm typing, this is saving the document. So when I'm done typing, I can just X out of it and look, the document is already saved here. If I open up this document and I want to rename it, I can simply click on this document right here and I can call it project second. I'm going to copy this. There you go. And there you go. The file name has been updated. I'll also add, if I insert something here, let's say a picture, stock images, I'm going to say project planning, and I'll just pick any image and let it add here, and that's it. This is already saved. If I X out of it, here you go. A few seconds ago, this was saved. The benefit of keeping files in SharePoint document library is tons. You can set alerts. You can also you can set workflows on those on any document library or folders and so forth. But you can also check version history. So if I go to the version history of this file, notice in 1 minute I modified this file a couple of times. In fact, even added an image, and see how this file from 18.5 KB jumped to 5 MB because of that image that I added on this document. But if this is an Excel file and you're working with a team and this is not saved and a file is not saved on SharePoint, then you won't have the option of checking the version history if someone messed up the formula or something like that, and be able to restore. However, if a file is in SharePoint, you can not only keep track of all the versions and who all touched the file and modified it, but not only view the previous version, but also restore the previous version as well. So that's two elements within the site that I've created. So I'm going to go to home. Next, we'll quickly modify this landing page. And what we will do is this issue tracker that we created and the documents library, the secured library, is what we will add here. We'll do that by clicking on the edit button in this top right-hand corner. When the page is in edit mode, you will see that if you hover over it, these are all different web parts. So news is a web part, quick link is a web part, documents is a web part, activity is a web part. So what I want to do is I want to add another web part right here, maybe right below news, and I want to select list, and this project issue tracker list is what's coming up. And there you go. It's giving us the summary view and so forth. But anytime you're working with a web part, and you have the web part selected, you will see that the top left corner is going to have a pencil with edit web part written on it. So if you click on it, it's going to give you this flyout menu that comes from the right of the page, gives you the name, the view, any um, auto sizing information or size information that you can make it small, about keeping only 5 items visible here, or 15 or 30, and so forth. You can show or hide the command bar. You can show or hide the see all option as well. So if they're both unchecked, then they're at the show command bar status. And let's click apply. So this was the setting for the web part. Once this is applied, this is the web part is going to show the value. Okay, so this is updated. I'll X out of the left, and now I want to add another web part on the right side with the documents that I've added in the documents library. So if I select document library, it's going to show me all the document library that's been created or that's part of this site. I'm going to select secured library. So if I click on it, it immediately sort of opens up a window view of the app itself that we created on the landing page. So this makes things pretty easy. You gave someone a link, a URL to this Let's Collaborate site. They come on the site. They either see news if they need to. If you want to get rid of it, you can simply remove it altogether, and so forth. And they can see the project documents, and they can see the issue tracker and respond to it pretty quickly. So I'll go ahead and republish this page after, when you're satisfied and you're done making the changes, you should go ahead and click on republish. And I am ready to publish this, and there we go. So there's one library that's added which is secured in nature, and the other library was the default. And here's the project issue tracking tracker that's added here. So in summary, we created a list, we modified the list, we entered in a couple of values, changed the existing view, created a new view, added and removed some additional columns from it, rearranged the columns, made a specific view that you like as the default, talked about setting up alerts, setting up Power Automate for approvals, and the ellipses to export information out on an Excel file as well within the issue tracker. Then we turned around and we created a secured library. We added a couple of documents and talked about some of the advantages of saving files in SharePoint as opposed to your computer or as opposed to a file share, because that some of the capabilities such as alerts, such as version history, is where Microsoft is a better option and tool or platform to put your corporate content, your important documents within this space. And 3, then we edited the home page and we added these 2 web parts and changed some of the settings of that web part as well. Next, what I want to do is add a news article real quick. So if I click on news and I click on news post, it's going to open up this template to select from, whether I want a visual news or a basic text. So if I do visual, this is what the visual comes up as. And if it lets me scroll down, then I can simply create. It's not scrolling down real quick. Okay, I can create as a private draft and I can click on create post. Here I can give it a title, project go live announcement. I can replace some of the pictures. So for example, this I can edit and I can change the image, and I will search a stock image for the word project. Let's see what comes up. And I am looking, I think I'm gonna go with this image, and let's X out of it from the right here. And so this is where you modify the text, you remove and modify the images that's created by default. If you wanted to add additional information, that's it's on this page, you can do that, and you can even add additional web parts, additional information here as well. So I'm going to just call it project go live date is 12/31 is December. Okay, so I'm satisfied. I can save this as a draft. I can enable comments or leave the comments enabled or disable it, up to me. I can save this as draft, or I can post this news. If it's ready for prime time, you'll post this news, and this news is going to be available. Now, how does this news looks like on the home page? If I go to the home, boom, there we go. So this is the image that's being shown, uh, with project issue tracker, secure library, and so forth. So this is what the site navigation, site edits are, in a basic format. There's more depth that you can go into. You can create a new page or space, news post, and so forth. But at this point, I'll quickly add and link this site to Teams. So if I click on Add Microsoft Teams, this is going to show you bring resources from this site into Teams for real-time communications. If I click Continue, it's going to ask me, well, pin resources as tabs in Teams. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to have this added as a tab in Teams, and I'll just do Add Teams. I could have added or linked from if I was working within the Teams uh, panel, I could have created a new Teams, and I could have created new Teams in existing look and feel, and then pretty much go from there. So all in all, now there's this site is actually connected to Teams, and we can validate this by doing a couple of things. If I go to the SharePoint Admin Center, uh, notice this was before showing that Teams is not connected, but if I refresh, I should be seeing the Teams icon show up over here, and boom, there you go. Let's collaborate as Teams connected. I can also go back to the home and select Teams and let the Teams environment come up, and go log into my dev instance with my credentials, and this is going to, I'll select launch it in browser when it's going to ask me. And there you go, let's collaborate, which was recently added. And you have, I'm going to X out of this, you have files, you have site, and so forth. So this is all what I wanted to cover today. Thank you very much for sticking around and learning about how to set up a Microsoft Teams site. In my next video, I'll talk about the what is a collaboration site template, and how do you go about setting up that site. How do you play with and integrate forms in there, and keep working in that direction. And I'll be making more videos, uh, to cover some of these topics, because I've been getting frequent questions. So once again, for disclaimer, I work at Microsoft, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm putting it out there, and this is something required by my HR. So thank you very much for sticking around, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here on my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and please like and comment. And if you have any questions, put it in the response to this video as well. Thank you very much, and you have a wonderful day.